We have got a great guest, everybody. His name is Chris Stewart, and he comes to us from Kerberos Studios, and he is a producer, and he's made lots and lots of games. Kerberos isn't your only stop. Everyone, please welcome Chris Stewart. Good to see you, my friend.
How's it going?
It's going great. It's going great. Thanks for coming down on short notice and
thanks for having me.
Talking to us about the Pit Infinity.
Yes.
Now, the last time you were on EP Live, which was just a little bit more than a year ago, you brought in a board game.
Yeah.
And you showed off a whole board game. We played a little bit of it. You showed me the little pieces. You
That's
gave me
right.
some. It was very sweet of you. How did the board game do, first of all?
The board game did very good. We did it as a Kickstarter.
Yep.
And the Kickstarter completed, and as of this very moment, it's whatever magic happens at the factory, it's going through the magic. Whatever Keebler elves make board games, they're making the board game right now. So
people that make, or little creatures that make people happy make
yes,
board games,
exactly.
yes?
So that's where that's at right now, and in the meantime, well, that's me with emails back and forth, and then the Keebler elves and the Kerberos Productions offices are working on Pit Infinity. So.
Oh, that's cool. So when you came up with the board game, was it a question of you wanting to also have this video game extension right from the get-go, or was that something that came out of working with the board game concept?
It's basically we've created sort of a franchise Mobius strip.
Yep.
So a few years back we made The Pit, which was a straight-up sci-fi roguelike in the classic style, top-down, turn-based. That one is the one that we turned into
so
the
you
board
started
game.
as a video game.
That's right.
Went to
video
a board
game to a board game, and now we're back to a video game again. In this case, we've done it's a little unique. Well, it's very unique. We took everything that everybody loved about the traditional roguelike, The Pit, and we moved it into Unreal. So what we've got is a atmospheric first-person multiplayer co-op roguelike, if you can parse all that together into what it plays like. So yeah, that's basically, it was going from the old school top down godlike turn-based mode, bringing it into real time and into your own point of view.
It kind of plays like a Doom roguelike. Is that kind of what you're shooting for, no pun intended?
Yeah, that's not a bad way to put it. The core of it is the original Pit. So I mean, we've got most shooters, you have a selection of guns. We've got dozens and dozens of guns.
Right.
We've got different ammunition that goes into them, traps, items, crafting, monsters. So that's the core of the original game, and you saw that in the board game as well.
Yes.
With just so many cards to play out and get a good random replay experience out of it. And in this case, that's where we started. But yeah, we got a little pinch of Doom. We all like to talk System Shock a lot, especially that kind of moody tone that we're going for.
And the role-playing elements of it, too. And
exactly.
The multiple choice. You can play as different classes.
There's
with
3
different
character
abilities.
classes,
Okay.
yeah. Again, drawn from both the board game and the original game.
Right.
Basically, if you're familiar with either of the other two, you know exactly what these are and exactly how to jump into them. It's just that we've brought it so that the monsters are coming right at your face, rather than a card that's thrown down in front of you, or you see it attacking your little guy on the screen.
Which should people start with if they're curious in, because you guys have at Kerberos a very, very vast experience based making strategy games, and you're making thinking person's video games.
We do like strategy stuff. We do like anything with like kind of some tactical thinking to it.
Yep. You also made a very cool Kaiju game, which I really enjoyed.
Kaiju-a-Gogo, that's
Yeah.
right. That's on Steam if you ever want to go step on Electric Playground.
Yeah. Our old offices, they put our old offices in there, which is awesome.
People should try whatever appeals to them most. I mean, our office is, we're all-around gamers. I think most people are all-around gamers, but everybody's got a different personal Venn diagram of maybe they're more... if you're attracted to the first-person shooter type stuff, try out Pit Infinity. I mean, you can go get it on Steam now.
Yeah.
If you're more of a ponderer and a thinker, you can go back to the original Pit, because, of course, that's available on Steam easily. And I think Good Old Games, all the good digital retailers.
When did the Pit initially come out?
Ooh, that would be, I think, 5 years ago now.
Okay. So it's
getting old. The noggin's not there
getting
anymore.
Experience.
Yes, there we go.
Is the Pit would you say it's like a tactical strategy game?
No, it's roguelike.
Yeah.
As well, the only difference is we used our Sci-Fi bits and bobs that we like. That's sort of Stars universe from that old original game of ours.
Yes.
And I mean that old, not in the bad sense, but it's a
That's what kind of
it's a
made your
veteran
company,
game
right?
now. Yeah, exactly. That was our first outing, and that whole world building that we did there is what was the seed of the pit. Yeah.
Awesome. So it's a top-down roguelike, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's what people are familiar with. It's got the top-down view, and you have shadowed areas that you haven't seen yet, and line of sight, etc.
Very good.
Yeah.
So clearly, that was a successful game in its own right. That it kept
It
you
did
guys
very well
kind of
for us.
yeah, thinking of other ways that you could explore all of this
Yeah,
stuff.
I mean, we lived in that one for a couple of years, 2
Yeah.
or 3 years, because we kept updating it. Going back to the beginning, PC games, you put it out, eventually little bits and bobs come out that you want to touch and fix and all that. So we've always married our updates with content updates. So there's always been little updates with more monsters, more items, etc. But we did DLC of extra characters.
Cool.
And that's, again, so in the pit you start with 4 of those original character classes in the board game. And again, we designed it so that we'll be expanding out into those guys. And same with the Pit Infinity. You start with 3 of them, but as the game progresses on, we'll be looking to bring in other character classes. So,
Cool.
Something for everybody.
So when you transposed a lot of that work to the board game, was that a challenge for you guys, or was that something that sort of came naturally and you understood the principles and you obviously were fans of other board games and you could kind of figure out your path that way? Or
Both.
Yeah.
I mean, designing the game was quite natural, but it wasn't without challenges. The challenges was, if people are familiar with the pit as what it originally was on the PC,
right.
how do we still convey that feeling, but we've boiled it down to a single board game.
Right.
Especially since the original game, and just like the Pit Infinity, has dynamic levels. You're never going to, every time you go to level 1, it's going to randomly generate the hallways differently. So you'll never be it won't be Pac-Manning your way through this the hallways. But you can't do that with a board game, like a fold-out board, because that's fairly static. So that was the biggest challenge, was kind of distilling the idea of going through hallways and rooms. But once we tried a couple different ways. Once we got that, when I was here showing it to you, it was very easy then. The randomized monsters, the randomized items, all that came fairly easily to us.
Awesome. Did all of that prior work then help inform the Pit Infinity? Because this is, I think, your team's first crack at like an FPS style game, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and it all in all, it came very, very easy. For starters, working in Unreal's been really, really good for us in terms of translating the 2D stuff to generate a 3D world.
Yep.
So that's been working real well for us.
First time you guys have used Unreal?
No, we have used it in the past.
Okay.
In a couple of different places, both official and unofficial project stuff we haven't talked about. But this is the first one public that we've put out. And it was really, really, really good way to just start with something 2D static and build it out into this 3D. I kind of lost the thread of what you were originally asking me, but in terms of did the old inform the new?
Yeah. Or is it start from scratch and you got to design for the format?
No. That was working fairly well, just because by that point we're steeped in what the pit is and what you're supposed to be experiencing. So there were some design challenges. I didn't want to use the same word again, but there we are.
Welcome to my nightmare, buddy.
Hey, quick, a thesaurus. Some design.
We forgot the prompters again. Blake, no prompters. We don't use prompters.
Moving from turn-based to real-time.
Yeah.
So that was a challenge to tweak that to get it to where it felt right.
Yep.
Finding that balance between what people find familiar with going, when people go keyboard and mouse for a first-person shooter, there's an expectation of things there, but at the same time, we wanted it to run smoothly in terms of playing our roguelike and running into new monsters.
There's so many shooters on console now, and I went for the controller because I'm so much more used to playing with the controller, but it's just mouse and keyboard right now. Could you ever envision this being a controller game?
I can envision anything.
Yeah? Okay, so it could make it to the consoles at some point?
Yeah, I mean, our background is very PC heavy.
Yep.
And that's our bread and butter. That's been our legacy for a lot of our
Push
games.
Guys Vancouver says the Pit is a great game.
Hey.
You got 2 exclamation marks. Right
Thank
there.
you.
That's good. And somebody else whitelisted it. Sam I am 11 or wishlisted it. Right
there you go.
There you
perfect. Thank you, Sam.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was. Again, I lost the question.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah,
no. I like the adulation, though. I'll take the adulation. On other consoles.
Yeah, on consoles.
Things like that. Yeah, we actually will be talking about putting it into the controller. Again, being on Steam. That's a big thing with Steam. We even, the original Pit 2D, we put it on a controller.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Cool.
Because, that is a big thing to be able to sit down and... When Steam started, nobody had a big flat screen on their entire wall. Now everybody has it, so playing your PC games on the wall is a lot more fun than it used to be, and the controller's a big part of it.
Had you done an early access game before?
We did a war game, and I'm trying to remember if we did early access on that or not. And again, I apologize. The old wisdom is not helping me in that regards.
You're thinking of game stuff.
Yeah.
Your brain is filled with game things, which is fine.
Yeah. So
but early access can be excruciating, I've been told.
It's
because you're getting feedback every day, right?
Which is fine.
You're good with that?
No, we're
okay.
I mean, it's that give and take. We the social contract with developers is we let you come talk to us as long as everybody understands that that's like a fire hose of different people, right? Like it's not a singular voice coming at us.
And how do you parse that? How do you kind of take that and turn it into useful dynamic changes to the thing that you're building together?
It's about what you'd expect. Sometimes people come to us with ideas which are kind of their wish list stuff, but they haven't really thought about their keen idea versus the kind of game we're making.
Right.
And sometimes these things don't mix, or some of them are us going, this is what we're going for, that doesn't quite fit, so we're like, it's a good idea, but it's not where we're going.
I have an idea.
All right.
Jetpacks.
In a hallway?
Jetpacks make every game better. It's
anybody at the office who's watching, start working on the crushing yourself into the ceiling animation right now. But I
happen to like jetpacks.
I will say, jetpack suggestion aside, we get a lot of good feedback where we're like, you know what, we hadn't quite thought about that.
Yeah.
And your feedback was great.
Thank you. Okay.
I didn't mean to imply.
That's why I do this.
Though it's funny, I'm making fun of the hallways. We're doing little updates, so people will see little iterations, and again, just like before, new weapons and like we just put in different ammo types. So that's always fun, putting in exploding bullets versus regular bullets and all that sort of thing.
Yep.
But we've designed our early access into 3 big updates. We're through 2 of them, and there's one more left, and that one actually has. Largely what we're doing is we're putting in the final floors, the final battle floors, and then biomes, which are these bigger open, rather than a hallway, it's where they've tried to, the aliens of that built this facility way back when have tried to build a bit of indoors sort of thing.
It kind of sounds like a dream, because you had a big success with a game, you got to explore it in a new direction, so you stayed with your property, and now you're getting to do that again, and in some... It's not just like sequels and iterative, new projects. It's like trying a whole different angle on everything.
Yeah, I mean, and part of that might be, the indie space that we're in.
Yeah.
It does allow us to try to think outside the box with our own stuff, because it is our own project. I mean, I'll tell you right now, every developer will tell you that they always have a pile of ideas that are just waiting for the right opportunity.
Yeah.
And the great part about the Pit being as popular as it is, and it allows us to do the board game and the Pit Infinity out now in early access on Steam, is that some of those ideas that we have sitting in the background are continuing. What can we do with it next? So
cool.
But the thing is
So
got to finish this one first. So
how are people enjoying the game? What's give us a sense of some of the feedback that you're getting around?
it's
the game.
good. Most people have really gotten it right away, and part of that was again that tweaking we did to, even though you go hands-on and first person and make it so that it's really accessible that way. If you're familiar with first-person shooters, a lot of people really quickly got the idea that when you shoot at something, it's not as simple as
Yes.
if you can get your mouse pointer over it, it's
Yep.
automatically a hit equal to X amount. Again, the role-playing comes in.
A little Fallout-esque in a way.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you see the hit points and you see that
If
there's a lot of stat tracking
we let
happening.
you do the aiming, and provided you hit, then your skills take over and tell you how much you've hit and
That's cool.
how good you are depending on the weapon you're using and all that sort of thing.
That's
so
cool.
that's yeah.
How big is your company?
We're not a terribly big company.
Yeah.
We're only about north of a dozen.
That's all right.
Currently,
And
yeah.
everybody's working on the Pit Infinity right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's
And when do you expect that the version 1.0 or whatever, the final
the
game,
final one?
the launch game?
We're looking at about a month and a half to the last big update.
Yep.
Which is when, and then we'll
And
go.
that'll be Battle Royale mode?
Maybe jetpacks,
I don't
battle
know.
royale.
I don't. Those are like, we can't use those jokes after this year, right? Those are like done jokes. Can't joke about Battle Royale anymore after this.
About a month and a half to get the last big chunk out, and then we'll do some final balance tweaking, debugging, and all that, and that's when we'll go final, and that'll be the last price jump. We've structured it that each big chunk into the game, we kind of up the price a little bit.
So if you get in now, what
You
you're
get in
saying
early,
here,
yeah.
let me interpret this. If you buy it now, it's the cheapest price you can pay.
It's
But you
good
get
to
the
get
whole
in
game.
now.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but you will get the whole game later. Right now, it's a lot of fun because the last big update was the multiplayer.
Right.
So
and if you get it now, you're also helping to define the improvements of
that's
the game.
right. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, by definition, early access is helping us work towards that end goal, helping
That's cool.
and all that. And
Do you guys have Twitch cameras and stuff like that in your space?
we've done a little bit of that. Actually,
Yeah.
the really cool part is, again, going back to the pedigree of the game. The Pit has there's some real hardcore roguelike guys on Twitch.
Yeah.
Tornus, Lethal Frag. I'm trying to think. There's lots of names to rattle off there. Those guys played the heck out of the first one, and they've started playing the Pit Infinity now too. So
Awesome.
yeah, every once in a while it's out there. And like I said, if you've ever wanted to scream with your friends because a moon bear has jumped out and started to eat your leg, that's all in there now. And I can't stress it enough. It's a lot of fun with your headphones on, and somebody is somewheres in the distance yelling, "Help! Help! It's eating me!" So
Awesome. So next time you come, Moon Bear plushies.
yeah,
Yeah? All right.
I think every game we've made, somebody wants plushies. So
Okay.
I'll have to work on that.
Question from Jamie.
With Epic announcing a new store, does that have you thinking about alternatives to Steam?
It does, actually. We started on Steam prior to them making that announcement, but of course we're in their space, running the Epic Dev environment, and every time I load it up, it's telling me what new stuff is coming. And, so that is something we're looking at, yeah.
The question was about the store for anybody that didn't hear. We don't have a Phil Donahue.
Oh, sorry. I should
microphone
have
here.
reiterated
Nobody knows
that.
who Phil Donahue is. We got some kids that just graduated from VFS. They're like,
Sarah
who the
Jesse
hell-
Raphael?
Who
Nobody?
the hell is Phil Donahue? Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, the game is out now.
Yep.
And
Come play it with us.
And it's going to be final. You think by the end of the year? You think?
Oh, well before the end
Well
of the year.
before the
yeah,
end of
yeah,
the year.
yeah. Like I said, we're
Fantastic.
about a couple months away from that.
Can you tell us what you're going to do next?
I will say one of the things closest to the top of the pile is going then full circle back to the traditional roguelike, but now instead of doing it 2D art elements, do it with 3D art elements. So we'll go
Okay.
back to the turn-based roguelike.
Okay. More Pit?
More Pit. And then
You found a home here, man.
Yeah.
You guys did the what was the Sword and
the Sword of the Stars.
Sword and the Stars. You did
Yeah.
a bunch of games in that
Yeah.
genre. So
In
it's
that-
kind of a similar kind of thing here with the Pit, I guess, eh?
Yeah, same thing, same universe. And again, continuing with the universe, everybody keeps asking when we're going to return to space combat, and we're always looking for that opportunity. So
Cool.
that could come along soon too. I don't know.
Roguelike space combat with
Oh,
jetpacks.
yeah.
We are designing games here, people.
I'm underlining
We're doing
jetpacks
that on
twice.
EP right here.
Thanks
Thank
a lot,
you so
man.
much, Chris.
All right, man.
You rock, buddy.